Hi everyone. So this is an Ascension energetic update for June 1st, linear year 2025. And I will keep it as short as possible. Also, I need to mention that usually most of the time that when I do updates, if you will, there's new information that is included, as well as an energetic update of what is currently happening, how it affects you to at least some degree, but also there is new information in alignment with the Ascension. Uh, so I say this to inform you that I don't readily do repetitive things. For one reason, we're always advancing forward, and the most current, up to date information is the most beneficial. So, having said that, what we are looking at now, I'll begin with, I think it was May 29th. We had the twin stars ships, Pollux and Castor, if you will, forming a celestial formation with, let's say, two eyes and a happy face where the moon was at. Uh, Now, again, this was not by chance, this arrangement, if you will. And what it indicates is the twin flame experience, and not only the experience, everything that it entails, of course, with creation and with love and all of those good things. So, what it to give a quick explanation of what it is indicating is the more favorable time for twin flames, and of course the happiness that comes with that, but also to indicate the heightened twin flame current time that we are in, to be re-heightened. The twin flames, if you will, were kind of on a standby, sit out, wait period for many months now. There wasn't much progression in that area, and divinely so, because the divine plan had taken uh, had taken. No, that's not the right word. The divine plan had to, yeah, take course the way that it did. Uh, and one of the reasons for this, everything that is occurring worldwide right now in relation to the floods, fires, smoke, I'll get into that a little bit later. All of this had to occur. And if you had the twin flames powerfully together, creating so much love, it would not have allowed for these events to occur, which are also necessary at destructing the old. Ones need to realize that the real truth is you do not love evil. And if ones have the misconception with that through reality, if they are affected by all of the twin flame love, then what will occur in reality is most of humanity will love their enemies, if you will, but not so much to just love their enemies, but condone their actions, and then nothing changes, because through loving there is a condonance and an acceptance, if you will. And we can use the Stockholm Syndrome to understand more of what I'm saying with this, where the prisoners come to love their captors, if you will, and that doesn't progress anything forward. So having said this, there had to be this course of reconciliation, what is going on worldwide that is influenced upon the ascendees in humanity through all of these natural disasters. But nevertheless, so what it is now, it's the indicator given the green light, if you will, for the twin flames to come more so back together in unison, to bring that relationship further forward. Now, it's very important. One of the hindrances with the twin flames has been typically by one partner, even though they are a twin flame partner, not believing in the twin flame concept. And because of that non-belief, it shuts them down and it separates them for going in to the divine sacred energies and all of the divine sacred creator work to a great degree, what they are here on earth to do. Now, having said that, there is no blame with it. It is how it had to occur to ensure that the twin flames were not together practicing their sacred creational love-making and intimacy that affects the whole world. So everything is divinely regulated with this. So again, what I'm saying, it's very important to highlight the twin flame concept once again, and to instill the reality of that belief and what it's here in this ascending time on earth to do, to keep that, as simple as possible. Also, in relation, indicative of the heightening twin flames, is there were two twin solar flares that occurred. I think it was on May 30th, maybe perhaps 2 days ago, or in between a day or two ago, from the sun. And with this, what you need to look at is both of those occurred, I believe it might have been on midnight, May 30th, around that time, and May 31st. What you look at is these were twin flame equal flares that occurred. I think it was around 4.2, if I remember correctly, both of these. And what this signifies and indicates from the sun as well is two flares for the empowerment of two of the twins, if you will. So this was a very important indicator that the twin flame pairs would be powered up as well, more in their energetic values. Now, also, it didn't stop there. Our last solar flare of M8.2, it came from sunspot 4100. 41 is an important number as well from the sunspot. It's the inversion of 14. This reality, or the lower timeline for the most part, resides on the binary code, the basis of 14. So anytime you see 41, it is the inversion of the lower timeline, and it is the activation, higher activation of the higher timeline, where most of the divine ones reside on. So it was very important to note that in the numbers. Also, you could do a lot with the numbers there, but we need to look at the CME, the coronal mass ejection as well. A halo ejection came from that CME, but importantly and interesting enough, it was moving at 1938 kilometers per second. This number, again, is significant because what you're seeing is 19, and 2 times 9 is 38. So you're actually seeing a representation of the twin flame pairs in the speed of that coming to Earth, and it's already, I believe, beginning to come in this energy because it is twin flame oriented. And again, it's why it has these divine designated numbers to indicate and to make it more obvious for ones that, you know, what we speak about and what I speak about is actually true once you get more of these validations and confirmations. And with that, of course, you know, you can do your beautiful play with numbers. An M8 decimal 2, you multiply 2 together, 2 eights is 16, house of love. So you can do many great, good, divine concoctions with the way that you look at the numbers and the way that you apply them also to the current dynamics of the overall ascension and what is occurring on Earth. Also, what I need to say is there's been a huge magnetic filament that has detached from the sun. It should have occurred now. I didn't look recently for any update. Nevertheless, there's a huge magnetic filament that it should have detached by now. And this magnetic proportions is again directed towards Earth, the human playground, and it's feminine favored because again, anything magnetic is always to empower and support and balance the feminine to higher proportions. So what we have over the course of this ascension is magnetic releases from the sun, but we also have the electric to keep the balance with your electromagnetic fields as we go forward. So it keeps getting recalibrated to higher proportions, which also speeds up, raises your vibration, which then gets reflected into your frequency, and it causes your vibration, when it's higher, it resonates higher at higher frequencies. So the higher your vibration is, the more of your frequential output. And this is very important to understand why it's always important, what we say in metaphysics, to raise your vibration. You're raising the amount of times that it oscillates. And the quicker it does this with your circulatory system, your blood circulatory system, it creates a much bigger influential field on reality. And the proportions of your auric energetic field is many multiples more than what the present normal reality is for anyone else. So you make a huge impact upon this, and this is in alignment with your co-creator abilities. And again, with this great enhancement with your divine power comes that great discipline and responsibility, because what you are generating outward is creational energy that affects reality. And we are in the time of ascension. So this is why most of you, at least that are watching this, have been prepared by doing the inner work, the purification of the soul, meaning that all of your demeanor, your behavior, it had to go through a purification process and change. You could not be expliciting unkind things, unjust things, negative things, fear-based things. So you had to change all of this inside of you so that you can own more of your divine prowess. For the simple reason, if you were full of fear and emanating all of these nasty things outward, you would be contaminating this reality with more of that same. And that's not what we're here to do. That's why it's necessary to purify all of your past behaviors that were negative into good and into the virtue, absent of any vice. So vice is the bad things, virtues are the good things. And you had to change your behavior. And again, it was so important and always continuously so important for ones to do their inner work. You wish to have the characteristics that are love-based, caring, sharing, compassion, loving, but not being taken advantage of by the trickery of the darkness. However, the more that you are purified, the higher discernment that you have at evaluating what is actually truth and what is a deception by the old masters of illusion, which are the darkness, if you will. So with the more of the purity also comes the higher consciousness and the higher clarity for ones. And understand, again, we are still in these processes, and there are many waves of development. Not everyone is at the same place where everyone else is at, because there are so many incremental ascension waves due to where individuals are at in their processes. And so again, with that, it's why it is so important. You can no longer act in those old ways, and you need to be very meticulous with what you say and how you act, because the energy worldwide is in the Ascension protocol, which means that anything that is good and divine is energetically supported and rewarded. But any negative, nasty, unkind behavior, it is not. It causes the reverse. The adverse effects of this can be, you will create much more unnecessary negative things in your reality, and so at many multitudes as well, beyond what was there before, because this is part of your learning and part of your tests, and you just don't keep looping, meaning that eventually you break through. If you don't pass a test by doing the right and good things, you'll loop back down into a period of waiting, but it'll come back again. The same circumstance, with the same theme, until you apply the right, good, and virtuous thing to it. For example, if you have a little bit of greed left within you that you don't wish to share, you will create the circumstance of fear that is associated with lack, if you will, and you'll find that you'll become more greedier until you reach a point. You'll become greedier because you'll begin to lose things. And it's divinely set up to do this, to learn ones in their test to share. And when you share openly, it creates the universal flow of support, because it is in full alignment with everything that is divine and the Christ-like behavior. Give, 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 so that you create the supportive flow. But if you are in lack and you're greedy and you don't want to give, you actually set off a negative, let's say karmic energy that begins to implode upon you, making things more and more difficult until you get it. So again, it's important the whole energetics worldwide is set up to serve the ascension and the heaven on earth scenario, and nothing else will do. And any negative things will meet many multiples of negativity when ones do this, and it'll come crashing down on ones as well to learn the lessons. The feminine, I'm so grateful to share over the last few days a great rise into the feminine, and rightfully so. Even if you look at the current lower timeline, you'll see where the feminine has been suppressed, even distorted out of her equal divine prowess. But I would say it has to be proportioned on the lower timeline, the recognition of the equality of the feminine on the lower. But on the higher timeline, this is feminine dominant that are awakened. The feminine in this reality, it's a feminine gender dominant energetic reality. Everything that is born of a soul comes through the mother into this reality. And what this does, it leaves the mother, or it doesn't leave the mother, it puts the mother as the most powerful contributor to creation into this reality. And that needs to be appreciated by all, it needs to be accepted, and it needs to be understood, the important mother principle on earth, but also with this ascension. So having said this, as more feminine, they have been in different ways by the darkness suppressed, robbed of their power, put in states of fear, and of course one of the current themes, their children taken to diminish them further and to break that special, powerful, unconditional love bond between a mother and her child. So the darkness, if you will, would fabricate the stories and everything to that effect so that they could separate this powerful energy of a mother and her child. However, in this great time, we are infusing light back down in there to bring the mother and the children back together. And so we are interjecting the light, the higher divine laws into that area, but also the divine feminine has to raise out of their fear to come together as one voice. And this is also why we have the increased photonic and magnetic energy from the sun to facilitate and support this at more feminine, mustering up the divine courage to say, no, this is not right. You are not taking my children from me. And what you are doing, let's say, is no longer acceptable, to keep it simple with that. So divinely, more of the energetic creational light is coming in to support that, and also in this ascension to bring the family units back together. And as you can see in the comments, divine gpms.world is the actual physical agreement of the replacement system worldwide that is being ratified by every child, woman, and man. And because this is being done physically, it's bringing the heaven onto earth. And the more and more that ratify this agreement by consenting with it, and you don't need to sign it, you can sign it if you want, but you just need to put a tick mark or whatever in the box when you consent. But what this is doing, it's formulating and creating a concrete, bona fide agreement worldwide by the people. So once divine GPMS.world has the majority consent worldwide of every child, woman, and man, your new heaven on earth replacement system is activated for all. So it's important to know that GPMS.world is also an Ascension instrument. It can be looked at in many new ways. The new covenant, it is the ark, it is the things that take you to the heaven on earth in the least. However, humanity is granted divinely to be able to do it physically and to ratify it, to overpower this existing beast system environment that you're living into, the capitalistic beast system of monetary policy and artificial man-made laws. So you have the choice to choose your unlimited wealth, joy, happiness, and freedom, and simplified laws with this new system, new divine system, which actually creates the heaven on earth. So it's GPMS is not, it is both. It is energetic, but it is actual, and it is real, and it is physical. It's physical because everyone in this now that consents is physically endorsing this worldwide agreement to usher in this replacement system, which is absolutely, it's all humane in the least, but it's divine as well. Where this current system, as you see worldwide, is savage, a monetary system and laws that inflict so much harm and kill many each day, like about 35,000 humans are killed each day due to hunger alone by the system. Of course, the numbers actually killed as a result of the savage system daily are many more, but I use just what the hunger does because the system created the hunger, it created the poverty. It is the savage system, it is the beast system that does this to inflict harm. Everyone's voting that are ready for the divine replacement system that does no harm, and everyone's in abundance of food, wealth, joy, happiness, absolute peace, all of the good things that all of you felt in your heart, that where we are going to, that this world is not right, and you know, in belief you were correct. You had to know this world was not right, so that we create this new heaven on earth here. The time has come where this worldwide beast system is no longer acceptable, and divinely it's not allowed to exist much longer. So you also have many floods, fires, many what you would call natural disasters that is also putting pressure on this beast system to implode. For the simple way, what it's doing, it's testing the beast system with its assistance to humanity, because everyone needs to realize money is created instantly and unlimitedly. The beast system knows this, but they use money to control ones. So when there's mass floods, fires, all of these natural disasters worldwide, when the beast system does not support ones with all these disasters, it makes it more noticeable that the beast system doesn't have the genuine intent, nor does it have the public's interest at mind. So then it implodes further, as the new divine GPMS system is ratified into law that takes the place of the beast system of Babylon, if you will. So, without going too much into that, so the feminine, yes, are rising. What you will see is out of Russia, could possibly beginning now. You'll be seeing widespread flooding, unprecedented flooding in Russia. We're already beginning to see more in China. Worldwide, I think today Germany, Alexandria, Egypt was hit with extensive hail and extensive flooding and storms. Yesterday, I think, or a day ago, Syria has been hit today with storms. Nigeria, Africa, flooding. The last I looked, 115 in one area were missing, presumed dead or possibly dead. So you have Nigeria, of course, infamously Australia, with the unprecedented flooding of many kilometers of land. China, flash floods. And again, Spain, as we know, Germany, in Europe, also Italy, where you're seeing cars go down the streets, if you will, and flash flooding. This is totally unprecedented. Of course, the U.S. and all of the current more pronounced, profound natural disasters also in the U.S. And part of the reason why it's more severe there is because of the great fear in the U.S. and what the U.S. represented for maintaining the beast system, if you will. So more or less it will be and has already been hit a lot harder from the divine natural sources as well. And having said this, I see many out there attempting to give credit to harp in the darkness, if you will. What I say, do not do that. Understand that it's not the darkness to any great length that is causing these storms. And the more that ones will give the credit to the darkness, then you're going to create more chaos and conflict, because as a co-creator, you're giving them the credit rather than giving God and know what is occurring with the overall divine plan. So it's very important to be conscientious and meticulous on who you're giving credit to, the darkness or the light. If you give all the credit to the darkness, you're doomed. If you give all the credit to the light, you're ascending. It's that simple. So we have floods, unprecedented worldwide, tornadoes in the U.S., and now we have a lot of lightning coming in. We also, important to mention, we have spontaneous combustion of inanimate, let's say, buildings and things that is occurring. One of the reasons for the spontaneous combustion of buildings, chemical plants, is because the whole atmosphere is changing. And, if you will, the dynamics of a molecule in reality is also undergoing an alchemy of becoming more proton-positron based, for the simple reason an electron is a negative charge, and it was the darkness utilizing energy to its most smallest molecular stage to keep intact hell, if you will, by having typically and an energetic molecule, the electron proportion at putting 72% negativity outwards, and of course only 28% of positivity. And this is creation. But in creation, what is occurring to allow and facilitate the new heaven on earth, which is positive and love-based, the molecules here are undergoing a reconfiguration of more protons and protons and positrons coming in to the molecular structure. So you are now getting close to, let's say, 48% positrons in areas, and with 52% electrons. And what this does, it has created also, it creates an imbalance when it's affected by outside interferences like EMFs and microwaves and ultrasonics, if you will, too. So this is why you're seeing in certain areas with buildings catching on fire, and because what is occurring in these areas, the adverse, negative, energetic things by the remnants of darkness are more prominent in these areas. And when you have all of creation undergoing a molecular restructuring, when you have these negative things affecting this great change, it causes chain reactions that result into spontaneous combustion and explosions, to keep this simple, with going into much more detail with that. And as I said, I intended to keep this short. I have a meeting coming up, another important meeting with GPMS.world shortly. So I wanted to get some updates out here, importantly for this time. It's important also to understand in the U.S. again what is coming, what is currently there, but also coming perhaps more intensely, is the smoke coming down from Canada, but also the dust storms from the Sahara that's coming up through the Gulf of Mexico into the U.S. So what you're having is the smoke, bad air quality and pollutants, and then you also have the sandstorm coming, and it's centering more or less Arkansas, Texas, in that southeastern portion of the U.S. Once again, it is being affected with very, 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 very bad air quality, and also compound that with the pollen effect as well to add into the air quality. Now, again, what you will see as a result of this, one of the divine cures is to release unprecedented rain. When you have sand particles and smoke in the air, what rain actually does, it dissipates it. It makes it heavy. It forms around it, and it puts it to the ground and eradicates it. So the reason I'm mentioning this is what I suggest, yes, in the U.S., although you've already had much flooding, there's going to be much more as a result. And this is not to spread fear. This is to inform ones, to be aware of what's going on, and be responsible for your own preventative measures. And none of you will be harmed once you're aware and knowledgeable of what's occurring with the information I'm giving you in this. If you feel to go to higher ground, do that. I also put out the update by Father that the sea levels are rising, and at some point they will go up to 100 meters above the current sea level. or the past current sea level. They have already risen more and more, as some of you may experience wherever you may be at with higher tides. This is a result of also more water in the oceans. So again, it's not to state fear, it's to be prudent in what you're doing and be meticulous, and to more favorably don't be in the cities. Most of the cities are below, the streets of the city is below, it's below that 100-meter water level that I'm speaking about, and many cities are not many meters above the current seawater, ocean sea level. Yeah, is the right word. So for any of you that's watching this, get your whatever area you're in. Not all areas will flood, but there are areas where you also need to, let's say, be divinely aware and just take precautions, if you will. And everyone is at the end of all of this, what is currently happening. Everyone is fine with this, and trust in that, trust in God, and trust in your connection with God. And don't go into fear, go into knowledge of what's occurring, and know that you will be all right. But yes, mass, what you would call mass devastation, it has to occur. The people have to change. They have to make the choice here in this reality, and truly they're being divinely forced to pay attention, take note of the signs in the sky, but now the signs on the ground as well. It can no longer be ignored, nor refuted for what it is. It is here, and I don't wish to emphasize I told everyone so, but what I will say, what I've said in the past, you see it occurring, and we have stated this. We have divinely, over a year ago, we took divine measures to limit the amount of water that was coming on Earth, to give humanity more of a chance to make the right choices. However, by November 15th last year, with an Ascension test run that didn't facilitate a flashpoint or a shift in reality, it became more clear that the variables in the Ascension, because of the people's choice, was causing a huge hindrance. Once more in March, we did an Ascension test run, and no, there wasn't enough in alignment with the heaven on earth to do that, and it still isn't today. So with that, it's why I say Father took and Mother took matters into their own hands. The world has to be cleaned up, and the only way to do this is through the divine plan. And when I say the world has to be cleaned up, that is everything that is in there, from the individual level to the physical land, to the society, the way that everything works. It's not in alignment with divinity. It's all distorted, it's sick, it has caused much sickness also to Gaia, Earth herself, and it's no longer accepted, and it's no longer divinely tolerated. So each one will be subjugated to more dire circumstances until they make the choices as well to not allow what is occurring worldwide, especially in society with inflation and wars and pestilence and all of these things, not to allow it. So, having said that, for all of you ascending, it really matters not what happens in this earthly plane. For those ascendees or ascending divine delegates, we are already ascended, meaning that in the blink of an eye we can ascend out of this reality. But again, what's occurring is not about us. We are here to change, in effect, this rapid transition of the earth into at least a civilized, advanced civilization. It is now savage. It is sick. It is dark, and again, that old reality is destructing very quickly. So, without going too much further in this, so magnetics, electric is very important, as the magnetics on Gaia into Gaia's Earth's electromagnetic field. As it's enhanced, it's proportionated and updated, upscaled with lightning in different forms, heat lightning, actual bolt lightning. It has to come in to keep the balance as well as we go forward. And that is the electrical, and you can apply the masculine gender electric and the feminine gender magnetic, which is makes up the most of the proportional energetic toroidal field, if you will. But there's also the gravimetrics and hydrogen, of course, that they all play intricate roles and balancing and advancing reality and the energetic forces forward. So everything with physics is changing in this reality, as I alluded to with just one of the effects, with the spontaneous combustion. So, with that, I must go. I see there is some questions, and thank you, but I had to get a lot of information out there. I do keep just so very busy with what I do, and as many know, I think in the last 2 months, perhaps on Telegram, we only had one open mic discussion more recently, and of course on Facebook here, it's been limited, and also the amount of content, what I was putting out is that I don't, when I put out content here on Facebook and Telegram, I don't put out repetitive things unless I'm divinely told. So what this means, it becomes periods when there's not much anything new to put out. So you won't see I putting the focus on energetic updates or what have you, when there's nothing really important to put out about. Yes, everything is always ongoing in the process, but also what I am seeing, which I'm grateful for, is other divine ones are putting out updates and information. So when I see that, I say, great, ones are getting the information. I don't need to do anything, and I don't wish to have divinely a monotonous, repetitive output of putting the same things out for ones. That has no value and advancement forward for those that already have it. However, when new ones do come in, let's say with what I am purveying and what I'm teaching, when I notice that, then I will go back and put out repetitive things, because it'll be repetitive for us or some of us, but it will be new for them. So it is necessary to refresh and refurbish these important essentials and even basics at times to the other ones. And as I've said before, I cater to all levels of consciousness, but I maintain consistently and constantly the higher divine consciousness. So that is when I need to go down into the lower levels of consciousness, the conflict and pain of others. My divine consciousness and divine capacity and ability is intact and fully there in these lower levels as I began to interject more of the light, look at the dynamics of what needs to be done to move that forward in any divine souls that are still encapsulated within that deep fear imprint to assist and perhaps, uplift enough that they can begin to activate their own clarity, their own divine clarity and gifts to rise above the suppression. So with that, importantly today, to recap, the feminine has reached another higher, unprecedented level of empowerment, which is, which it's with their divine courage. And as I say this, I'm instructed. Typically, with the human, you have your physical heart that is on the left side. But what I need to say, with everyone listening, activate, for those of you that are able to activate your physical heart on the left side, activate the love in that with your consciousness and keep pushing over to the masculine side, that love quotient, so that you can actually feel the love in your masculine heart as well. So you actually have two heart spaces, if you will, that join to make all of the heart chakra. But the masculine, you need that activated more for the divine feminine that are ready to do this, because this deals with your divine dignity, your divine honor, your divine courage. And it's important to have those masculine gender energetic attributes activated and enhanced. You need those to be more of a beacon of light and to hear your voice heard worldwide, to step up and be the lighthouses that you are, the divine feminine and also the divine masculine. But again, with this overall ascension, the emphasis is put upon the divine feminine because they are the ones to create the most greatest change, quickest change, and to have most of the effect. But again, the divine feminine are leading the charge with the ascension. That still remains the same. We see many masculine not taking on yet the higher divine roles of standing in their divine honor, dignity, doing what is right, but importantly, not accepting what is wrong. This is, I see as a gauge prominent influencers out there. They're saying they're divine, but their focus appears always to be on the problem, not the solution and the divine plan of GPMS.world. So this focus has to change with them. They have to know what they're doing by constantly energizing the negativity and the problem. They need to know that by energizing the solution, it has more of the immediate effect and it moves things forward. So, again, looking at my notes there, I believe I got through most of this that I just had written down. Yeah. Just have a quick look to see if there's any question here that I should address at this time. Kentucky, saw that Texas getting hit. Texas, is one of the strongholds of the darkness, so a lot of things must occur there in Texas, because also ones need to realize that everything is energy, and fear and insidious, nefarious actions also creates an energy. And when you have, let's say, in like Texas, which was one of the strongholds for the darkness, big money, big greed, many pharmacies, pharmaceuticals, and all of these things are from the capitalistic world. And it creates not only a fear, well, it creates fear-based energy, but fear-based energy is greed, arrogance, obnoxious behavior. These are all evil actions. It even creates hate, separation, division, disparity. So, with that, Dallas, of course, and you see Austin, Texas. So you're going to see a lot more energetic devastation in Texas because of this. There is so much darkness that is in there, and you have the light coming in. So where the amount of darkness in Texas was so much, you're going to see more light coming in, and because everything is energy, it's going to become even more chaotic with this. And likewise with any darker, energetic, enhanced places around the world, they will be hit more traumatically, and it'll be more impactful what occurs in these areas. So again, with this, it's a time to be aware, to take notice from your beliefs. Everyone's beliefs are important because it is your guidance in your direction forward through linear time here. And once again, to keep it simple, is what I always say: connect yourself to Mother, Father, God, and you are ascending. Keep it that simple and streamlined, but assist others that come along your path to do that. So do all of the virtuous things, and what you find is your path becomes so much easier. So, and it's important not to discriminate another for their core values if they learnt them from religion, no matter what the faith is, the various Hindu faiths, the Baha'i, Christianity, Islam, are more the more dominant or prominent religions. All religion and all belief, except for the obvious dark satanic ritual beliefs, all beliefs have the core values and the direction in them. So it's important for no one to discriminate against. If you have, for example, a Catholic Christian, do not color them with the brush of the bad ones that may be in there. Understand that you don't want to discriminate against a belief system, against Christianity, against that religion, because if you do, that is also a form of separation. But also, you, with this ascension, would be projecting upon all of the Christians, 2.38 billion worldwide, you would be projecting a negative energy upon them to stop them from awakening. As an example, religion is a good thing. it has the core values, it has the guidance and the instructions to connect with God. And no one really should be diminishing or discriminating against any religious beliefs, because again, in Buddhism, it has the kindness, which is so important. It's a core value to have to align one with the Ascension. So you need to understand this. What the darkness was doing, let's say with Islamic and Christian faith, the darkness would put actors and actresses within the different faiths to act badly, to propagate and facilitate a separation. What I need to say, brothers and sisters in the Islam faith and in the Christian faith, are divine ones, are ascending, and in this time they need to come together with this one common goal, not be tricked by the darkness, thinking that we'll use the UK for example, where they're saying the Muslims are coming in, terrorizing ones. You need to understand that these Muslims that are doing this are actually dark characters to do this. This doesn't mean all of the Islam faith is not in alignment with God. It's actually the opposite. They're trying to make a bad picture and discredit Islamic faith to cause the separation of the people worldwide, like they always did. These are the darkness's actions. So it's important not to discriminate and keep your objectivity with any belief system, any faith, any religion. Know that all beliefs and religions have been divinely seeded with the core values and the guidance and the instruction. Now it's a time to evaluate all of this objectively and understand it and bring it all together as one whole worldwide as we ascend. And for each one that does not say, I'm not religious, I'm spiritual, don't say that again, because religion is a faith, it is a belief. And if you go and say, I'm spiritual, I'm not religious, in a negative, arrogant, obnoxious way, what you're actually doing is disempowering yourself and separating yourself. It is the strength in numbers, and what Jesus and what God says is the more that gather in my name, the more miracles happen, and this is true. So you need to understand the tactics of the darkness, and don't let things separate you from ones that you know that are the light. It's perfectly fine to be separated from ones that you know are the darkness or controlled by it. That is being prudent in your evaluation and also in your divinity of what you accept and what you condone. And we don't condone negative, nefarious, attacking energy. That is not the light. That is evil energy. When anyone is doing that, when they're being provocative, that is evil energy. That is not divine energy. Accusing, blaming ones, if you will. When the ones have not done anything dark. And I need to make that clear. It's important to separate the wheat from the chaff and give the dark credit where the credit is due, meaning by their deeds and their actions. If they have done evil things, it's fine for you to say, yeah, that's not accepted. It's obvious. So you need to judge righteously with these things, and that is not a discrimination. So ones need to discern about this. This is the advancement, and rightfully so, by their nefarious deeds, they have judged theirself. So you're not judging another, but it's important again to keep it simple. As Jesus said in the past, do not judge another. That keeps it simple for you. But if you must judge, judge righteously, meaning that beyond a reason of a doubt, that one is a dark one is actually guilty beyond any reason of a doubt. But that becomes difficult in this world to establish that. And that's why it's better said, don't get caught up into judgment. Don't judge unless you absolutely must. And again, when you do judge, judge righteously. It's so important. Not only is it important for the outside world, it's important for you in your energetic values. So again, I didn't want to ramble, but I did. And celery and curcumin diet, very powerful, and that was put out for, it was strongly recommended for those that resonated with it. I generally, when I put these things out, I participate. I haven't Femcani yet, but it is on my list to get a lot of celery back in this body. We do have the beautiful organic turmeric. Hi, Birdie. And so, having said this, it's for each to do on their own time, and of course the powerful effects of fasting with good, clean, alkaline spring water. These are things that raise your vibration. It increases your energy, and by doing that, it raises your vibration and raises your frequency. And within the physical vessel, everything you eat, it takes energy to digest it. And if one is eating, let's say, cardboard, that's what I call processed foods, and all of these foods that are not real, it expends so much of your energy trying to break it down, and then when your body cannot break it down, it will store it as fat as well. But what this does, it drains you of your energetic field. And in actuality, ones say, yes, organics are more expensive, but in reality, they become cheaper over time because you don't need to eat as much. And when you eat raw organics, like celery, avocado, kaki fruit, I love the alkaline fruits, you will find that you will not need to eat as much, and that your energy will increase because you are eating the better things. And you will find your grocery bill, if you will actually come down in numbers because you will not need to eat as much to get the same energetic value out of the foods, but also your physical vessel, the metabolism, the metabolic rate begins to change, which allows you to be more efficient with also your, let's say, creation of energy, because then in your cells you don't have so much accumulated chemical waste in every cell of your body. So what this does, it greatly, without going deep into that teaching, it greatly enhances you. But get over the misconception that eating organically is more expensive, because, as I said, that's not the case. You'll actually find in the long run that it is actually cheaper. It also changes your reality. You're much happier. You're in higher vibration, and it is a very, very good thing to do. Well, all right. With that, we got this, and namaste. The great honor to all of you, brothers and sisters of the light, and our children. Much, much energetic divine support to all of the children worldwide, and to place them in this beautiful new world we're making, where they are free and absolutely open for the opportunity to unlock their divine ingenuity and creativity that they came here to do on Earth. So we're also giving all of these children the place to thrive in and to create unrestricted, like this beast system does and conforms them. So much love, big love, lots of light, and much gratitude and peace, of course, and have a beautiful day. Thank you so much.